This is the Freud's Angels podcast.
I'm Vanessa, your intuitive counselor.
And I'm Grace, your spiritual guide. Our goal is to help you learn to blend your spiritual connection
And mental consciousness to give you clarity
and understanding to lead a life
of your choosing. Welcome.
We're glad you're here. Hey, angels, welcome to the podcast. We are on episode 189. For those of you who didn't see my video on Facebook and Instagram, I fixed the numbers. So Vanessa, God bless her, went in and looked, and she's like, how come only the readings show up on our channel on Podomatic? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, well, because it's all I see. And I'm like, and she's like, where's the rest of them? She's like, I even sent a help desk request to the help team, and they were like, they're there. And she's like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I can't see them and I'm not dumb is basically what I said to them.
and so I went in and I looked, and I'm like, oh, it's the numbers thing.
Yeah.
So the way we started to do it is I won't even explain it, because now I hear myself thinking about it. I'm like, well, that was silly. So because I didn't think it would happen this way, but
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the other ones go by release date, like when you released the episode.
Which makes sense.
Right. It's how they order it. Doesn't matter. Podomatic goes by the episode number and the season. So the regular podcasts had no season because it's our podcast, and the offshoots like the body series, like the readings, were different seasons because they were different categories. And I was like, well, let's just post them when they're thing and it's just be part of a different season. No, apparently not. That's not true. So
we're good.
What?
We figured it out.
268 episodes later, and I fixed all the numbers. It was fine. It went really quickly, but it was a lesson in like, okay, I get it now. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully y'all will see everything if you use Podomatic. But if not, go to Spotify, go to Apple. We're actually, one of the things that we're going to talk about applying to is YouTube now has podcasts, and so we can actually subscribe to stream to YouTube from here, from our Podomatic. So that's another thing. So if you do YouTube and you have YouTube Plus or Premium or whatever the hell they call it, soon we'll be on that as well. So you can find us there. You can find us on Amazon Music, on Audible. We're also on there. iHeartRadio, Audacity. Google Podcasts is no longer. They have stopped. They have closed that. And so, I mean, whatever. Ghana, Boomplay, Deezer, all of those, Player FM. We're on all of those, but primarily the important ones are Audible, Amazon Music, and Audible, Spotify, and Apple. But we will be on YouTube soon. So
yeah. Well, and when I put the things on YouTube, they give me the option to put it under podcasts. So hopefully there's something that's there, because the way that we're doing it on YouTube with I like having our like the visual part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I wonder what the difference is of whether or not they'll go into the same place if we continue to do it with the visual edited version. But I guess neither here nor there. Just look for us. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. And so yeah, I mean, it's definitely good, because I think it's easy for us to go and like, or it's easier for us to be in all those places, because I know for me, like I listen to a lot of podcasts on YouTube because I put the TV on. I need to have the TV on in order to do stuff sometimes. Even it's the sound, but it's also the knowledge that there's, I don't know what it is. It's something beyond me. Right. Like, but because I could have Alexa play me the podcast too, but I don't have the same effect of just listening without it being on TV. I know, doesn't make sense. So anyway, I don't know why I'm going into this. We have a whole.
So if you go into podcasts and you click on the podcasts and you go into search and you type in Freud's Angels, we're there. We're all there.
Hell yeah, we are.
So, yeah, so if you were there, I mean, with our own postings, but we will also be streaming from Podomatic into YouTube. So, fantastic. So, if you have YouTube, use YouTube, totally go in and search for us, and we will absolutely be there. So, let's get to the subject of today.
Like,
But
now that you've heard all of our
I know.
logistics that we just worked out.
Side note, I really think it's important to really express the awe that I have that we are in our 5th season with this. Like
Yes.
5th season. I mean, I'm like, and I run the seasons from when we started to a year, so it's from end of June to like end of June to end of June. And so this is our 5th year in doing this podcast. Can you fucking believe it? Because
No,
I
because I
can't.
don't do anything for this long. I don't even live in places for this long.
I know. Usually by 5 years, I'm out of everywhere. Like I'm tapping out. Like I'm done.
Exactly. Right? Like that does it makes me be like, well, no wonder I keep trying to leave Myrtle Beach because look where like like I'm past my 4-year mark. It's time to go. Right? But except I'm not like this is my New Jersey. Like
Yep.
I have never let go of New Jersey. I was there for 10 years. I keep coming back. It's the same thing with this podcast. Like it does not feel like 5 years. It is not. I mean, but yes, when you actually think about the fact that we've been doing this for this long and we still enjoy it and we still love it and it's still helpful to people, that is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have gratitude for it.
Yeah. Oh, that was so slick, Vanessa.
Yeah, yeah, super. I mean, especially with the inflection of my voice that made it very casual.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, I dipped into, like the what do they call those things? The trailers.
Segue.
I got trailer voice on, like
Yeah. Coming soon to a theater near you.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, sorry guys. We're a little punchy. We've been doing this for like
We
not what 5 hours now. Um
we're deep in
yeah.
deep.
Yes. Okay. So, as you could have guessed, we're going to talk about gratitude.
Yeah.
And I can almost hear the audible eye rolls that are happening right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, ugh, gratitude again for real. Yes, gratitude. And I
Yeah.
think we're coming to it from a space of, we're not telling you it's very much overused. Like, be grateful and everything will go your way. Well, no, not
Spiritual
necessarily.
bypassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're coming to you from a sense of, what is the logistics of gratitude? Why? What is the science behind gratitude? What is the energy behind gratitude? Why does it work so well for some people? And how to find gratitude when places where you fucking don't have it. Like when you're like, you know what? I don't know how to pay my bills. I don't know where I'm going to live. I lost my job. How the fuck am I supposed to be grateful about something? Like
Mhm.
whatever that is. We're just kind of here to share some information, and we're not telling you to go fucking start being grateful about everything, but at the same time saying, it does help a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to admit how we feel, but sometimes it's nice to look and focus on the gratitude of something.
Yeah, well, because sometimes we are having to use it in crappy places.
Yeah.
When we talk about, say, our pregame, we were grasping at straws for the gratitude of being like, I'm so grateful that this crap is here beating on my face because it's going to be good at the end, right? Like, I mean, through gritted teeth, we are
Yeah.
grateful for the lesson. Ugh, right? Like, it
Yes.
sucks. But when you've gone through it enough times to be like, yes, on the other side of it, I do grow and things get better and I feel better and all that kind of stuff. I can say it through gritted teeth, right? Like
Yeah.
I can say, I'm grateful for this lesson because I know where it's going to take me, because I know where I'm trying to go. And I can see why this lesson is here. And I can see why this trial is right in front of me for me to complete this mission. I get it. I understand. And I'm thankful that I have the opportunity. Right. And then we
You should see this
and
Vanessa's
then
face.
we do that. Right.
Yeah. So something that's coming up that I want to share before my brain exits it out of the internal memory. The reason why it seems people are successful with gratitude is for various reasons, but one of them is because it's faith, right? There's a lot of faith when it comes to having gratitude. And I'm not talking religious faith.
Yeah.
Friends, you don't have to be religious to use gratitude. It's it's faith and trust in the self and trust that even in spirit, universe, whatever, that this moment is leading you towards something that you've asked for or something different. It's helping you, it's aiding you in some way, even if it feels like shit. Like it's something that's bringing you to a better thing. I remember when I moved here, right? And 2 months ago. I mean, like it was a long time, right? Um,
Way back when.
but with my memory issues, man, I tell you what, yesterday was a fucking like it's another country. But um when I got here, I had drove 5 days in the space of feeling and being in trauma, like the energy of it, the emotion, the crying, the desolation, the desperation. Like you want to talk about like worst moments, like that whole journey. I wanted it to be happy and joyful and exciting, but no, it was not. It was the complete opposite. I get here, I'm by myself. I've spent my entire savings getting here. My cat was disrupted, I was disrupted, everything was disrupted, and then I expected myself to go back to work the day after I got here, and all the things that had happened, like all the things, it was really hard to have hope. I lost hope for a long time when I first got here. Hope was gone, non-existent, couldn't access her. But there was a knowing inside of me that all that I just experienced was part of a process I have asked for and part of a process that I needed in order to get to where I'm going
Mhm.
and to be in that space. And sometimes there was an internal knowing of that even if I didn't have hope, that sense of like, okay, I wasn't grateful for the situation. I
Mhm.
wasn't grateful for what happened. I wasn't grateful for the trauma, but I was grateful that I took a chance and was resilient and enduring through those things to get to where we know we need to be.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's sometimes less about what is happening and more about what we are and how we're handling it.
Mhm.
And can you hear her? Can
No.
Okay, good, because she is like talking up a fucking
She's
storm.
like, "I
My cat,
remember the trip. I remember the trip."
she is lamenting about having to be in a cage for 8 to 9 hours a day for 5 days straight. And
She's like, "This didn't help future me at all, just so you know. They're talking
I'm
what
not
they're saying
fucking
is BS."
grateful.
Yeah.
That was
Don't
dramatic.
listen to them. They're lying. It was terrible, and it's still terrible, and I'm in yeah, right, cats,
Oh
right?
my
Like,
god.
you
Sorry.
got you're living the life, cat.
Yeah, I know, right?
And we all know it.
I bought my cat trees before I bought myself furniture, okay?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, right? Like, the cat trees have been there, the couch just got there,
yeah,
so
it's like, my god.
anyway, yeah.
But back to the conversation. Sorry, it totally interrupted my train of thought multiple times today. Um, but it's not the sometimes there are things that we have trouble feeling grateful for, and that's fine. That's okay. I'm easily able to admit, and especially even in that time, that there was trauma and it didn't feel good and it sucked and I didn't have hope for what I just did. But I had I had gratitude for me that
Mhm,
I made it through, that I am every day moving forward step by step and into what I wanted to create, knowing in some way, shape, or form that this is leading me to something different because I've asked for it.
mhm,
And that's sometimes how we have to see gratitude. People tout it as look to what you're grateful for. And it's not always about looking to what we're grateful for. It's about looking to ourselves to be grateful for, like us, like to
mhm.
us. Um, that's not always easy as well. But
Yeah,
yeah.
gratitude
Anyways.
for the journey, like, right, like, because when people think about, like, doing a gratitude list, and I remember recently having to say that to somebody, and I was, like, coming out of my mouth, I was like, "Just, like, I don't wanna say it, but I'm gonna say it because there's more coming, so just, like, just bear with me here," because nobody wants to hear about that. I didn't wanna hear about it. When people were like, "Make a list before you go to bed, keep a journal there," I was like,
Yeah.
First of all, when I'm ready to go to bed, it is like flop down, ready to go to bed because I wait until it's time to flop down and go to bed. The last thing I want to do is sit there and write a list of gratitude things. So
Yeah.
before bed is not the time where I'm going to even do that. And nor is it when I wake up because I don't want to do anything when I wake up either. Thank you. Right. So, like, huh. Right. But the purpose of it, right? Like the purpose of it. So I told this client, I said, I don't want you to do it at any time that doesn't make you feel happy. And if all you can do is write it on a sticky note, one thing at a time throughout your day, something that you're really happy that you have, right? Like when I have my coffee in the morning, right? I'm thankful that I friggin' have this coffee because I love how it tastes, right? Like I'm super excited to have this, right? And people are like, "Why would I do that?" Because you are happy to have it. The same way that when you have it, like I'm happy to wake up and see my child, right? Like I'm just happy she's here. And so that I can feel that love and gratitude energy anytime I want to. And it doesn't do anything, quote unquote, for me, right? Like me saying that doesn't multiply her, right? Like, which is what I think most people are thinking of gratitude as the exercise of multiplying or creating more things or whatever. It's not. It's being in a good energetic space for a moment.
Yeah.
Because if you do it multiple times, you'll be in a good energetic space more often. And that's the trick. That's the goal. Right. And so when things are hard, we are grasping, right? Because we were like, I can't find a thing in front of me. Right. And so I have to find something else. And a lot of people don't have this language. So when I think about the people that I've had to teach this to, myself included, I didn't have that language. Nobody taught me that when I was freaking out because I was trying to figure out how to finish my grad school degree, but I also lost my job and had to live on unemployment, which was barely enough to survive on. And I was going to have to choose between the two because I didn't have enough time to make money. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, anybody who's ever been on unemployment, you can only make a certain amount of money before they take away your unemployment. But when you're at the end of your grad school degree and you're having to work for free as your internship, how do you do it? How do you work for free and then find out how to make just enough money that you can use unemployment and still have it? It was shitty and it was hard for me. I didn't have the ability then because nobody taught me then to be able to say, there's a lesson here of what you want for your life and what you don't want for your life. And the lesson is that this is not what you want for your life, but you have to look at the ways that you're supporting this never happening again, because that's where you need to be grateful. Be grateful that you are finishing your grad school degree. You have no idea what's on the other side of that, but you know it'll be done because you're letting yourself do that, right? So this struggle has meaning. This struggle is going somewhere. This struggle is going to bring you something, and that's all you're going to that's what you're gonna cling to. And I clung to it, guys. Like, I clung to it. I clung to the fact that my God bless Floyd Hall Arena. It's no longer called that. I called up and I said, I can't not play hockey because I'm gonna lose my mind. Please help me. I swear to God, for like 2 years, I was on a payment plan with them. They just kept adding on all my seasons, and I just paid them monthly until I was done paying them so that I could play hockey in this weird situation, right? Like, because I needed to get through it. I was so grateful for that. I could have focused on how negative that was, how I was in such a crappy position that I had to do that, and humility and all that stuff. But I was just so grateful. It's like, oh God, I have my outlet. I have my outlet, and I'm going to finish the degree, and I'm never going to be in this place again.
Mhm.
It's my mantra every time I get in this shitty place is I swear to God, I'm promising myself I will learn whatever it is I need to learn so that I'll never have to be here again because I do not want to be here. I had to be taught that in order to reach that because otherwise I just flopped around in it. And that's what I used to do. And that's what most people do is because they haven't learned what gratitude can do for them long term. They're like, that's not going to help me right now. And I need help right now. And it's
Yeah.
like, nothing's going to help you right now. How about that? Like, that sucks. You're going to have to build something. What do you want to build?
Yeah.
What do you want to build? We got to start building right now, though. Yes, we do. We want to build something right now. You have to build something that you believe in and start right now. And if you can be grateful for anything in your life, you can start there. I'm grateful that I'm aware that there's a problem. Fine. We'll friggin' celebrate that we never did it before and we did it today. That will be our gratitude.
Yeah.
Sneaky, right? Like sometimes it's sneaky because everything sucks and we're like
Well,
grasping at straws, but we got to start somewhere.
it can be. It absolutely can be. And sometimes it feels like almost false because I'm like, I'm not grateful for what I'm in. But
Mhm.
you're right. It's like those simple things. It's like when I make a cup of tea and it's like, it all changes because it's not always the same amount of creamer or, whatever. And it's
It's
always
a
best.
mystery. Hey, this tastes different, but still good.
Right. It's like same tea, different whatever. And some days I will make the best cup of tea and I will be so freaking grateful I made that best cup of tea. And when I am grateful, there is a thing that changes inside of me.
Mhm.
Because what happens is you're inviting in when you're sitting in gratitude, even if it's forced gratitude, there
Mhm.
is an energy shift. Now, the reason why gratitude feels not great to people when they're struggling, it's because of the energy that they're in. Gratitude is a very high vibrational word. I know people say, what the fuck, whatever. But what happens is when we are enter into the energy of gratitude, our body changes and our energy changes. And if we're unwilling to meet that gratitude in that space, meaning we're unwilling to allow ourselves to access that gratitude, that's why gratitude is so hard to access.
Mhm.
It's because the vibration of feeling gratitude is so much higher and so foreign to how you're feeling that people it's uncomfortable and it feels fake because there's something within them that is resisting that shift in energy. That's
Mhm.
why gratitude can work. It's not the idea of if I say I'm grateful then things will happen.
Mhm.
It's if I am in the energy of gratitude, it allows me to shift my energy, my body, because we're all made of atoms, friends. We're
Mhm.
all made of little molecules that vibrate together to create energy. It's not freaking woo, it's science.
Mhm.
And when we give off a frequency, when we're in different spaces, that energy changes. So when you step into gratitude, you're changing, you're accessing a different energy field, which is higher vibration than it is when you're in that woe is me, what the fuck, things suck. And it's not to say we can't be there, but
Mhm.
when we go into gratitude, it helps us get us out of the what the fuck better and
Mhm.
faster than it would be if we were just to sit in it and just kind of sit in it. Um, it's not 100%. It's like it's everything. Like everything is nebulous for everybody. Things are
Mhm.
always not 100% for everybody. We
Yeah.
have to understand our relationship with it. What is your relationship with gratitude? How do you see it and how do you connect with it? And and what feelings or thoughts come up when you are trying to be grateful? That's the key. So even though you can't access gratitude and you're like, this fucking sucks because I can't be grateful, what is that saying? What is that telling you? So even
Mhm.
if you can't raise that vibration, it's giving you the key that needs to shift in order to get you out of the shit that you're in a way that is more in alignment with what you want.
Mhm. Yeah. And sometimes it's really weird to know why you're not doing it,
Yeah.
right? Like, why can't I shift into gratitude? Like, sometimes it's like a ridiculous thing to say out loud of like, well, I might miss something. Like, so if you be happy, you might miss something. What? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I won't fix everything if I start to bypass because they'll think of it as bypassing. Well,
Yeah.
then I'm not seeing all the threats. Like, you're still seeing the threats. You're just seeing the other stuff too.
Right. And when and okay, that makes a good point. And sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox about gratitude because I've used it as a spiritual bypassing. And so I understand it in a very deep way. But here's the thing is that if you're in that space and you're in that space of like, not wanting to see gratitude because of it's spiritual bypassing. But what happens when you are grateful and enter into the state of gratitude, even though no matter how minute, you're inviting the solution to what you're coping
Mhm.
within by accessing a different energy.
Mhm.
That's how it works. It's not that gratitude itself will fix the problem. It's not that you're spiritually bypassing. It's saying, you know what? I am grateful for this. I am still going through the shit and I am still not okay, but I am at least grateful for whatever it is in front of me. I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for my cat who puts up with my bullshit. Like, it's all it's finding that little piece of gratitude, and you're simply saying, I am opening the communication up to the things that will help me cope or solve or heal or take care of or me understand what my next step is to get out of this place. You're opening the door for the solution to what you're coping with.
Yeah.
It's not the gratitude itself, it's the signal. Gratitude is a signal, whether you believe in spirit, universe, divine, whatever, but it's a signal that shifts your body to say, okay, I'm in it, but I'm open to the solution. And knowing, because if you stay in the situation and you're not changing or moving, we just had a conversation about this, about our entrepreneurial stuff, about figuring stuff out. If you're not figuring it out where you're at, it's because there's no movement, there's no energy movement, you're stuck. And why are you stuck? Because you're too much in your brain trying to figure it out and trying to make movement without opening up the doorway to the solution to come to you intuitively, physically, in whatever way you get solutions. When we take moment and movement to a different energy, it shifts something within us, and it shifts loose what plagues us, what is keeping us stuck. But without that movement, without that shift, it's still stuck. You can't, sometimes you can't figure it out. That's why for some people therapy is important, because therapy is a container to access something that's bigger than themselves. You're shifting the energy by talking about what you're experiencing. You're sharing it outside yourself. You're entering into spaces where someone is lending their energy to help you. That's why therapy works for most of us. Some of us it doesn't, and that's fine. It doesn't. But the more we can understand, it's not about, gratitude is not the thing that fixes everything. It's the catalyst to be open to what does fix everything.
Yeah, it's like a key, right? Like a
Yeah.
key to a door, right? Like any other door, right? Like there were so many visuals that were happening, which sometimes I don't have them and I miss them, right? Like I used to be so visual and I miss them, right? Like, and so when I'm in sessions and I'm like, oh, like it's like a this, and I get very excited about the visual, and people like have to go on the ride with me because I can't help it. There was a lot of visuals. So like because that last piece of saying like it's a key to a door, you know what I mean? It like use it as a tool. It's not a thing that fixes the whole thing. It is a tool that helps you fix the problem, right? Like the wrench isn't the fixer. It's you turning the wrench, and knowing where to turn the wrench is why the wrench is the right tool for the job, right? Like we're looking for the keys to the door that will bring us to a different place than where we're at. When you first started talking, I literally felt my head like have hands on it and turn. Like it's like gratitude is a head turner.
Yeah.
It says, okay, I see what you're looking at. Can you look over here? Can you look over here? You know what I mean? It's just trying to shift our focus, because we are so focused on the problem. We are problem focused when we're in the shit because we're afraid, right?
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? Like this is terrible. We're in the realization of something being wrong, which is good. Our brain's never going to stop doing that. But what gratitude does, if we use it with intent, is shifts our focus over to somewhere else, right? And this can be anything though. And I think that this is where like gratitude is one of the tools,
Yes.
but we sometimes use other tools to get us there too, right? Like this is why distraction is a tool that people use. But what ends up happening is when you get in your distraction mode, you get into love energy, which does the same thing as gratitude. We're just trying to shift you from problem to something else, right? Like whether it's solution or not, because I'm only looking at the problem. And then, oh boy, that's a scribble. I wrote something down. And I'm like, oh God, oh yeah. It's sometimes it comes too fast and I scribble it. But then I was also getting the visual, of like if I'm sitting there, literally sitting there and going, oh my God, there's no way out, there's no way out. And somebody knocks on the door and says, I think I have a solution to your problem. Wouldn't you know it? A high percentage of us would be like, you do? Right? Like all of a sudden, because somebody else showed up and said there might be something else, we've allowed ourselves to go there, but we won't allow ourselves to do it on our own because we haven't figured out the mechanism that would let us do that.
Yeah.
Right. And then what we would do if they came with something that made sense to us, we would go, I'm so grateful that you're here. right? Like, oh, you came at the right time. I can't believe you knocked right then. I'm so thankful that the
Yeah.
universe sent you. Like, mm-hmm. What was the energy that you got into? Gratitude. Like, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah.
But you're attaching it to a person that brings something to you because you don't believe that you have it within yourself. And that's where, like, all of the stuff that we try to teach people is like, use your intuition, bounce it off whatever it needs to be bounced off of, whether it's a therapist or you saying it out loud or you journaling it or whatever, to shift yourself into what else could be there? What
Yeah.
else is there? Right? Like, yes, this exists. It's not, and that's where the spiritual bypassing conversation comes. Is like people will say you shouldn't feel bad
Right.
because you have this.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to do that. We're saying
No.
you can feel bad and you
No.
can also know that there's other things that are there, right? Like this sucks, this does suck, this is awful. I put myself in a position. All of those things can be true. But we're just trying to go, okay, got the message. You came here, negative feeling, to give me the message. What else? Other things that are possible? Are there other things that are around? Did I do anything right today? Like, even if that's what I gotta do, did I do anything right today? And if the only thing I did right today was make a really great cup of tea, I was successful in something, which means I'm probably not a total failure.
When
Let's
it
try
is
again tomorrow.
1,000%. And you saying that sparks this, like for me, being that my brain puts a lot of pressure on for me to get things done. And the days that I take rest and the days that I take time, and like my brain sometimes has a problem with that.
Mhm,
And so what I do is like, it's like, oh, well, you didn't finish this and you didn't start this and you wanted to start that and you didn't start that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But look, I did this and I
mhm,
did that and I
mhm,
did this. It's my way of kind of shifting the negative bias that we all have because it's our innate structure
mhm,
to a more positive bias. And that's kind of what gratitude helps us. So the thing of it is, too, is that this is the other side. So the people that sometimes resist, and I resisted gratitude for so long. And the reason why I resisted gratitude as being a tool in my toolbox is because I needed the people to be accountable for what they did to me. And if
mhm,
I stepped into a higher vibration and was looking for the solution, it wasn't going to be the solution that I wanted. I
mhm,
wanted an outcome and I wasn't getting it. And I refused to be
mhm,
grateful for it because it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't the vindication that I was seeking. So if you have an issue with gratitude, why? It
mhm,
could be various reasons, and all of them are valid. It's your reasons. There's no right or wrong here. There's no black or white. It is all gray. All of it is a gray.
mhm,
It is personal, but consider your resistance to gratitude and
mhm,
what is the mechanism of resistance? Why is there something you're trying to prove? Is there someone you're not willing to let off the hook? Or do you
mhm,
feel like if you're in gratitude of something that you are saying giving them a green light to treat you badly or to that for that to happen in your life? What is the conversation and your relationship with it? Because that also is turning yourself towards the observation of what is happening to get a better understanding of why you stay stuck.
mhm.
It's
Yeah.
when we have it, my mother was, you all know, I mean, if you've been on this podcast long enough, I talk about my mother a lot. And part of that in my relationship for so long was me just wanting her to support me, to help me like mothers are supposed to, in not in a big way, like you're supposed to help me, but like to want to help me. There's an unwillingness to even offer to help me or to talk or to listen or to find solutions with me. And I was so angry and resentful for so long. And all I can picture when I think of that is that she had the hook in my mouth and I
Mhm,
was not willing to let go of the line.
mhm,
And I had to be willing to let go of the line. And how I let go of that line was to be honest with myself and say, yeah, I want my mom to say she's sorry. I want my mom to be, to be responsible for the damage that happened, for what she's done. And my understanding that that was never going to happen and that I had to be okay was my solution. I didn't want that solution. And so I didn't step into gratitude. I didn't want it. I wanted her to do that. And it wasn't until I understood how much that impacted me in my life. And then I was like, fuck that. She doesn't need to impact me even more as an adult than she did when she was a kid.
Right.
I'm still perpetuating the same shit. I'm like, why do
Yeah.
I want that? I don't. So let's stop. So
Yeah.
it was, but it was me understanding what gratitude meant to me, to understand why I
Mhm.
was stuck in certain places. Not
Mhm.
that I was used grateful to get out of it. I used it as an understanding of why am I resisting that vibration
Mhm.
in the solution.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think you're right. I mean, I think that's probably a lot of people's issues, is that and it's subconscious processes. Like we can't have this conversation without talking about the subconscious processes because what we're conscious of, our 5% of our brain knows this, that, and the other thing, but there's all this subconscious process and belief system that we are actually operating from that says those things, and we don't know it until we look for it deeply and let it come up, let it come to the surface. Because if I say out loud in my conscious brain, well, the reason why you won't do gratitude is because you feel like if you rise up, then the this will keep happening, and so now you've created something where you're responsible for their retribution, and now you've whatever, like it's hardly ever what's our conscious process when we're not doing things, but it is 1,000% our unconscious process that when we look at it, we're like, how would those two things connect? And then you follow the trail and you go, they do though, right? Like it maybe didn't make sense to my conscious mind, but it does make sense when I follow the trail
Yeah.
of, man, if I go live a really good, loving life where I'm grateful for everything, if I say, oh my God, and I lose my mind whenever I see these things on social media because I hate blanket statements, and I use that word intently because it doesn't account for everything. But a lot of people keep sharing the thing that says, stop saying that my trauma made me stronger. All it did was, and then they go to the problem pointing, and I'm like, I get it, right? Like, but I also don't want to push. There needs to be like 4 paragraphs that go with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because your trauma healing 1,000% makes you stronger. It does, but we don't want to do it because then we feel like we're thanking the person, thanking them for giving us trauma
Yeah.
because now we're stronger,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that
Yeah.
because it's like, again, letting them off the hook. It's telling them it's okay. It's saying, hey, go do that to me again. Except the reality is now that you know that they're doing that, they're not gonna do it to you again because you're not gonna let them do it because that's what your healing did, was made you not do that again, right? Like that. But again, that subconscious belief system is what's operating, so it makes us stay in that cycle, right? And that happens to a lot of people
Mhm.
where, I'm going to refuse to do this, I'm going to refuse to do that. And so I'm actively going to keep myself in problem. I'm actively going to keep myself in misery until that thing happens. And I've said this story a million times. I've sat down with addicts and their parents crying. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I wish I didn't do that. If I could take it back, I could. Crying hysterically. And then they leave. And I'm sitting there with my client, and they're like, that didn't do anything. I still hate them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know. I know. Because I know that your belief system isn't going to change just because they own up to it, because your belief system still believes that they did it on purpose. The belief system still believes that it has something to do with you and that blah, 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 blah. You have to get into that subconscious process. We have to humanize those demons in your brain so that you can change your belief system. Otherwise, you're just going to keep operating from it and keep being miserable
Yeah.
because you got exactly what you asked for, right? How many times do we watch retribution happen and it does not heal the person?
Yeah.
All the time. But we still go, that's what happens. That's how it works. No, it doesn't. It literally does not. If you
It does.
actually look at it, it does not work.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make that be the thing. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
All it does is keep you, like you said, keep you hurting over and over again, allowing that situation to be in control. So if you do want to be happy, you have to let yourself believe in other things, because otherwise you just let them continue to cycle through your life, right? Financially, relationships, friendships, all of that kind of stuff. We can stay in that. I mean,
Yeah.
how many men I know that are like, women this. I'm like, well, you're never gonna have a good relationship. And they hate when I say that, but I'm like, unfortunately, if you believe that women suck and you are into women, you're never gonna have a good relationship because you refuse to change your belief system about the experiences you've had with women. You're gonna keep doing it. That's it.
Mm. Yeah.
You won't let yourself have a great experience with a woman because you do not believe it's possible. Well, good
Yeah.
luck.
And and safe to say, I mean, if we follow the mechanism of getting to that point and the hurt and the pain, it's definitely a protection factor.
Yeah.
If you heal and let go of this need for retribution, then your being, your brain, your protector is saying inside of you, if you do that, you might go to do that again and have a relationship with like that again. So I'm not going to ever let you shift
Mhm.
this belief system or let go, because we're stuck in the story and the story proves us to keep us safe.
Mhm.
Therefore, we're not going to do it.
Yep.
And when we can understand gratitude and even begin to minutely or try to practice it, what happens is it takes our negative bias brain and it helps shift us towards what is and the goodness. And when we can have some goodness seep into some of the darkness, it kind of sheds a light and it feels better to be in that space. And so you tend to want to do it more and more. You want to get into those spaces of gratitude because they feel better. It feels better to be grateful for something when you're allowing it than it does to feel angry about shit. Like it
It
is
does.
vastly different. And so you're going to want to be grateful for more things or be grateful for more situations in a sense that are good in your life because it feels better. And therefore, the solutions to all of the stuff that you are absolutely valid in feeling about situations, moments, whatever, they begin the solution or the understanding, even just the understanding of them, begin to show up. And
Mhm.
that's when you can make those shifts to not always being in that space, not always being in the this sucks all the time to, well, it sucks 75% of the time to
Yeah.
maybe 50.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, maybe 25. Like
Right.
the time in the sucking of things begins to lessen and get into
Yeah.
that space of beginning to enjoy what is there for you, what is supporting you, the things you do enjoy. And I think, this whole process is not overnight. It's not a
Mhm.
thing that happens tomorrow. You can't say, I'm grateful, and shit's going to change tomorrow. I mean, it could, but
God, I wish.
generally, most of us have a relationship with gratitude that's a little more complex than overnight. Miracles happen, but not always in the way that we want them to.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just about I mean, it can be as silly as you have no idea how many times living in the more sunnier state than I was in. I woke up and I'm like, thank you, sun. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Because like
Yeah.
the warmth and the healing just energy of being in the sun is just it's simple. It's really silly and
Every
simple,
morning.
but it's
Mhm.
like, thank God you're here. I'm so glad I'm not like there's not clouds and rain and
Mhm.
dreariness for like 10 months of the year. It's like it's only a couple days and it's over, which
Yeah.
is beautiful. So yeah. Friends, I know this is a really sticky subject for many of you, and we are not here to tell you to just be grateful for everything because we have been through the trenches of gratitude and we have been through the trenches of a lot of things, maybe not the same as yours, but through our own. And I really hope that this gives you hope to try it or to
Yeah.
examine why you don't want to.
Yeah.
That in itself can be even a better catalyst than the gratitude part.
Yeah. And if you didn't listen to the weekly reading, I'm gonna bring in the thing that I was like, dang it. Like I'm gonna bring it back in. Do you trust us? Right? Like I was telling Grace or telling everybody, I guess, in the weekly reading, I have no shame about using my place in people's lives to trick them into taking a step that they're afraid to take,
Yeah.
right? I'm taking it with you. Do you hold my hand? Do you trust me? Right? Like and forcing them to look in my eyes and say, no, Vanessa, I don't trust you. Because then we'll go down that road, right? Like we'll talk about why you don't trust me because I need you to trust me. I need you to trust me in order to be in that space with me. I need you to be able to trust that I am 100% here for you and I am 0% here for anything else, myself included. I'm
Yeah.
here for you, right? Because without helping you, I don't have credibility, and without credibility, I don't have a business. So you bet your ass when I sit down with you, I want the very best thing for you, right? That's obviously. So do you trust me that if we start a gratitude practice, that your life is going to be better? And if you don't trust me, and I use the word intently, right? Like, not believe me, right? Because people have no problem saying, I don't believe you. But they have a problem saying, I don't trust you. If you trust us, we want you to know that this is true. We would never say this to you unless we saw it happen, because we value this space. We do not want this space to be a space of discredit or anything like that. I mean, we care so much about this place that we've created. If you trust us, you have to know that we're giving you this information for a good reason. And also, I am telling you that when what Grace is saying is true, you spend less time in misery and it is better. You will have better things in your life when you learn how to do this, because you cannot accept the bad things. And that's the thing about it, is like, when I look back at all of my situations that were super horrible, right? Like, and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Now, when I look back with my 2020 vision, I'm like, well, because you did it. Right? Like, I just watched myself walk right into those doors, right? Like, well, if you just didn't walk in the door, that wouldn't have happened. Right? Like, it's very clear. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm just going to try really hard not to walk into those doors now that I know better, which means I won't, truly, because now I have awareness, and I've given my brain a new signal to say, well, you don't want to do that again? Then look at how it happened, so that you won't repeat the thing that made it happen, because you did make it happen. We co-created everything in this damn life, right? Everything that you've had to move through, you co-created somehow, whether it was ignoring intuition, whether it was, like, following somebody else's program even, right? It's like, cool. I don't go back there to shame myself. I go back there to find my clues. Right? Just, okay. Well, that's what happened. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just not going to do that again. Why did we do that? Okay. We did it because of this reason. Do you still do things because of that reason? No? Okay. Then it stands to reason you're probably not going to do that again. Right? Like, science. Right? Like, right? Like, all of a sudden I made sense of it. Like, yeah, right? Like, I'm not that person anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you start to go toward other things that support the person that you are, because you can't do it. Like, we talk about this all the time, and I'm like I'm very much in this space, because I can realize how much I've grown, because there are places I can't go back into. I can't be there. I'm like, whoa, things I would have easily said yes to, I say no to immediately, because I've been doing this work.
Yeah.
And now my vibration is in a different space. So I can't, I won't go to the other one. I don't like the other one anymore. It was not good for me.
And
So I
you've
won't do it.
you've cultivated safety to show
Yeah.
your, like, hey, brain, it's okay. See, we're safe. We're safer now than we were before. We're okay to
100%.
it's okay to be here. It's okay to
Yeah.
be in this space, because we are safer and we're happier and we're
Mhm.
more we're good. And yeah.
We're more good, right? Like, even if we're going to do the thing that we always do, which is like, oh my God, you're not where you need to be. Like, but you are more good than you ever were. So let's like do that. That's sometimes the gratitude practice of being like, you are not, like, this basement is a really nice one.
Yeah.
So that's the gratitude you're going to have today, is like, ooh, nice basement. Way better than the other one.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that one.
This one is carpet.
Yeah, yeah, right. The fluffy kind that's nice to lay on.
Yeah.
Not the Berber. I hate Berber
Yeah.
carpet. Sucks.
Rough.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
how did we
friends.
get to Berber carpet?
I don't know, but that's what we do. That's our magic, man. Grateful for the
Yeah.
magic.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. Thanks for being here, friends. Stay tuned. We are partnering up with someone I truly believe in and truly feel connected to bring you
Yay.
something truly spectacular and
Yes.
truly amazing. And I really do hope that you stick around and find out in the coming weeks. Probably, I would say 2 weeks, we'll let you know what's happening. But
Yeah.
we love
It's a
you.
tool. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'll tease you with it's a tool. And it's a tool that guys Grace is familiar with and I'm not. So like we're gonna journey in all different ways together on this. So get
Yes.
excited.
Yes. I'm excited. I am. I'm thrilled. But yeah, if you need us, you know absolutely where to find us. We
Yeah.
love you and we will talk to you next week.
Hey, love y'all. Thanks for listening.
We hope we gave you something to support your journey.
Check out our Facebook or Instagram page to connect with us.
Have a great week.